All right, let's go ahead and get started. Try to keep this within our hour time slot that we set aside. We know all of you have important things to do, have family time. So welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully all of you are doing safe and well and are healthy with the new kick of COVID happening. We hope all of you had a wonderful holiday season, be able to relax, spend some time with family. So thank you again for being with us tonight. We have a great webinar here regarding pitching here in Florida. We have Diane, Larry, and Cindy with us tonight doing the presentation. So thank you for taking the time to present to our officials, and I will turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. And again, thanks for the technical expertise getting this all set up. And thank you to all the umpires that are joining us. Really appreciate the people that are willing to sit in and use some time to make the game better in the state of Florida. Wanted to start with the pitching rule and illegal pitches because last year we didn't do very well. And I take a lot of the blame on that because I wasn't real clear when we established the pitching rule for 2020. And maybe a little wishy-washy on some of the enforcement. But when we got to Claremont to the state finals, we saw problems that should have been fixed long before they got to that point in the season. Cindy was actually working college that weekend, so she only joined us for like the last evening by the pool, but it was nice to have you there when you got there, Cindy. So before I start, let me ask everyone a question. Have you ever intentionally hurt a softball player? And that answer better damn well be no and hell no. Have you ever made it intentionally harder for other umpires to call games? And again, I hope you say no. But let me tell you something. If you have ignored illegal pitches, you've hurt softball players. And you've made it harder on the crew that comes in next that does call it right. So let me share my screen here and we'll look at a couple videos. Both of these girls pitched in championship games in Claremont. Just a second here. Okay, this is the one I have to mute because the kids are really loud. This was not at Claremont, but this was in the regionals. And let's go back to the beginning. We'll watch it a couple times in full motion. This girl's going to be pitching in college next year. There's no doubt. She's that good. And she knew how to pitch legally. I debriefed the crew for the championship game and they probably called 10 illegal pitches on her. And her coach told her, said, you know how to pitch legally, just do it. So, but she'd start there, her feet are set, she's taking the signal, hands are apart, steps back, and with no pause, comes forward. So we might go back to that one later on. Another girl from a championship game. We noticed in the semifinals that she was kind of looked like a leap and then a herky-jerky motion. You'll watch it a couple times at full speed. So if you have a girl in your area that you think might be questionable, just have somebody shoot a video. Diane did this on her iPhone. So she's flying right there. But the worst part is, look at that replant. She's in the K position right now, and she's 4 feet in front of the pitcher's plate. She was just a freshman. Again, got the talent to pitch at the next level, but we need to make sure that she learns how to do it legally. So we're going to a PowerPoint we put together for tonight.
Hey, Larry, before you get started here real quick, can I just mention one thing I forgot
Sure.
to say? If you guys have questions, concerns, please use the question and answer box down below throughout the presentation. I'll be monitoring that and can ask as those come in or just at the end. So I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but please feel free to use that Q&A box at the bottom.
We'll have plenty. We hopefully have lots of time. Thanks, Jeremy, because we do want to answer all your questions. So 2022 Florida pitching rule. Go back to a little bit of our history. Up till 2013, in Florida, we just used the National Federation rule. At that time, the coaches asked if we could, we asked the coaches and they said yes. They wanted to prepare their girls to pitch at the next level. So in 2014, we adopted the college rule, which at the time was both feet in contact, no step back. In 2019, as you know, NCAA changed their rule to allow the pitcher to start back, not step back, but start back. So the Softball Advisory Committee, unanimous, they want to parallel NCAA. They want their girls to be prepared to go to the next level. We took that to the coaches at the Florida Athletic Conference Association meeting in 2019. They were also unanimous. So the Softball Advisory Committee, the Officials Advisory Committee, and the Athletic Directors Advisory Committee approved our change to Rule 6 to parallel what college is doing. So what changed? Pitchers can start with their stride foot behind the pitcher's plate. So this is a great video to show to your associations. Find it on YouTube, Amanda Scarborough.
So the hot topic right now is the pitching rule change for how a pitcher can start or pitch. And this is really big. Don't be scared of it. I feel like a lot of people are reaching out to me and they're nervous about not knowing it, what to do. It is not a major change. It's big. It's good, in my opinion. I'll get into that later. But I don't want you to think that this changes everything, all the work that you've already put into everything. It's just a matter of understanding what you can and can't do. So the important thing to know is that there's two different options and different organizations are using each of the rules. So there's back rule and there is the step back rule. So the start back rule is for college and also PGF. The step back rule is for USA softball, USSSA softball, and also high school. So they have similarities, but there also are differences that are important for you to know. So let's start with the start back rule. For the start back rule, your front foot still needs to be on or in contact with the pitching rubber as you take the sign. Your back foot will start in one place as you take the sign, and then when you get the ball, then it will stay in that position as you move back and go into your windup. The biggest change about this is the fact that
your back foot no longer has to be in contact with the pitching rubber. What the rule has been for college and travel ball is that both feet needed to be in contact with the pitching rubber. With the start back, it can start as little as a centimeter off of it, or it can be 6 inches behind the pitching rubber. It's gonna be up to you and what makes you feel the most powerful and consistent in your windup. So if I'm a pitcher with the start back rule, I would go ahead, get my front foot, just let my back foot hang, get the signal, get my grip, and my foot stays still, and I go through my windup. That's the start back. The step back is a little bit different in the sense that you have more movement with your back foot, which is your stride foot. Left foot for right-handed pitchers and the opposite for lefties. So, step back, same idea. My front foot has to be connected to the pitching rubber, but my back foot, as I take the signal, I can kind of have it wherever. As I get the signal, take it, and then put my hands together and go into my motion. That back foot can step back and then go. So wherever I take the signal from, I have movement to then step back and go into my windup. So very, very, very different.
Okay, so as Amanda said, you can start with the stride foot in contact or as far back as you want. She said 6 inches, it can go as far back as you want when you set that toe of the stride foot. Still have to take a signal with your feet in position and the hands apart. The signal does not have to come from the catcher anymore. It can come from the dugout. It can be on the armband, the wristband with the play card. It can come from grandma in the stands. I don't care, but you have to stop and simulate taking a signal while in the position with your feet set and your hands apart. Now we put the language in here so you can make the change to the Federation book. You can, it's all written down here. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, and you can also find it in the gray book, in the officials guidebook, in the softball section.
Let me interrupt 1 second, Larry, please.
Go, Cindy. Thank you.
Okay, going back to where the last slide before that, where we talk about taking a signal. Here it says you have to be in contact or behind. And that is true, but you can also take the signal before you get onto the rubber. But you still must simulate taking a sign once you are on the rubber.
Exactly.
So I hope that clarifies a lot of the issues of, she's not on taking it, and then she gets on, doesn't, she's got to simulate taking one.
Yep,
So,
have to go through the whole thing in our language once she gets her feet set on. So it does say that the stride foot, once the pitcher initially sets the toe of her stride foot, she may not step back any further to increase the distance behind the pitcher's plate. No change to the shoulder position. That one, 611B, simulate taking a simulate taking a signal. Again, it does not have to come from the catcher. It could come from the dugout with the coach yelling, the yellow 24, Omaha, whatever they yell. But that's taking a signal. Then after she gets her signal, then her hands come together for not more than 5 seconds. We don't have the NFHS rule where it says 1 to 10 seconds. We use the college rule on this. Hands must come together for not more than 5 seconds, and they can be moving naturally. Whoops, I went the wrong way, sorry. again, I put this in here because this is being recorded and will be on the FHSA central hub. You can go through and you can make all the changes to the to your rule books. Summary: it's start back, not step back. Repeated this a few times. The time requirement is as it's always been in high school. She only has 20 seconds from the time she gets the ball back until she releases the pitch. We're not using the college 10, 10, 5. It's 20 seconds from the time she gets the ball back until she releases the next pitch. Couple of interpretations that kind of clarified things for some people. So what does it mean when she said initially sets her toe? Well, we've got to allow the pitcher, to wiggle, adjust her stride foot until she's comfortable. After that, that toe can't go back any further. And like Cindy said, can she take a signal and look at her wristband before stepping on? Yes, she can. But as long as, after she does that, she has to comply with the rest of the rule, which is step on with the hands separated, pause and take a signal before the hands come together. I know you guys have probably experienced, or I know we have in Pensacola, games are getting longer, and a lot of it's got to do with the wristbands and the Yellow 24, Omaha stuff. So here's a couple things that you can do. There's 60 seconds between innings. Enforce that. I go to evaluate some games. There are almost 2 minutes between the third out and the time the ball goes down. So plate umpires, you could take charge of that. The pitcher has 20 seconds to deliver the ball. So you work with your catcher. If your pitcher's taking too long, speed it up, but don't hesitate to call dead ball, timing violation, ball. And work with your coaches. Once we explain to the coaches that we just want our pitchers to do what they're doing in college, is get the ball back, step on with the hands apart, get your feet set, then get your signal. Go through the wristband, the whole thing, bring the hands together and pitch. Before I close this, I just want to give a advertisement. Diane and I are putting on a clinic for 3 umpire mechanics, high school 3 umpire mechanics in Pensacola on Saturday, the 22nd of January. And yes, I know very well how long it takes to get to Pensacola from anywhere else in the state, but it's open, it's welcome for anybody. So we'd love to have you. Email me if you'd like to attend. We've got people coming already from Jacksonville and Panama City, some other places up in the Panhandle. And if you want to come further, welcome. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. And that's what we had. So now it's time for questions.
There you go. Cindy, why don't you look at some of those questions?
I'll read them out. I'll read them out and then you guys can answer. I remember Cindy saying you can still move your stride foot as long as your hands don't come together. She can still adjust her stride until she starts her pitch. Is that correct?
Once she comes together and she puts
once she gets her feet set.
set,
Yes. That's where we got in trouble last year. We let them keep doing it until they were ready to bring their hands together. We're doing it as it's written in our rule, as it's enforced in college. Once she gets that stride foot toe set, you can't go any further back.
Next one. As we have started down the path of college pitching rule, is there any discussion of possibly using the college strike zone as well? Bottom of the sternum and top of the knees.
Do we want our games to last 3 hours?
No. No. No, ma'am.
I think we need to be as, what's the word I'm looking for?
Generous.
Generous, there you go. We need to be as generous as we
word.
can sometimes with that strike zone. So the strike zone in the Federation book should be the strike zone that we use.
Pitcher
Concur.
engages the pitcher's plate with both feet on the plate. She looks into and gets a sign from the catcher. Before bringing her hands together, she steps back with her stride foot, plants that foot, then brings her hands together and starts the pitch. Legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Illegal.
Once she sets her feet and pauses and gets a signal, she can't step back any further.
Now she
Well,
can pitch. She can pitch in that position. She just can't move her feet back.
Right. I mean, she can put her stride foot in contact or as far back as she wants. But once she sets it, no further step back, no further movement backwards.
We have a bunch of time still here. For those of you who are with us, please answer or ask questions. Diane, Larry, and Cindy have all made themselves available. So please, let's get as much clarified as possible and use their time that they're allowing for us to all talk here. So please continue to send them in and I'll answer or I'll ask those to them.
Jeremy, I've had a couple questions from umpires asking about COVID. And right now, there's nothing from the state changing what we did before. I mean, no, we're back to normal, except we work for schools. So if the school or the district has some precautions, we have to follow.
Correct.
There's
Yes,
nothing formal from FHSAA, correct?
that is correct. That is
As of-
correct.
As of this evening.
As of 6/26, our board of directors have not made any changes to put any further COVID protocols in place as there were that first initial season when we got back to playing. So as of right now, it's back to as normal as possible. However, we do know and understand some counties and districts have their own policies in place that they've taken. So please just make sure the communication lines and flexibility that we had to have last year remain in place. Obviously, there's probably gonna be cancellations and postponements and all of that happening. We're experiencing that now for some of our winter sports. That has picked up after the Christmas break a little bit more. So just please be aware of that. And again, we use the word flexibility a lot the last couple years, but please be as flexible and communicate as much as possible with our schools regarding any policies they may have at the local level.
Thank you.
All right, a couple things. The video of Amanda is on YouTube and it's also on the FHSA website. Okay. Larry, if we could go over those pictures again.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea.
And slow it down and we'll talk through it. Because one question here is, can you reference and discuss leaping? So that one video
Okay, I got the wrong, let me get the other one up.
shows it. And then as far as clarification, once she sets that stride foot to the rear behind the plate, non-stride, the stride foot behind the plate, she can move and adjust it a little bit, tweak a little bit sideways, you know, wiggle, 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 but she cannot move it any further back. Doesn't matter what she does with her hands. Hands have no bearing on that foot.
Right, this is all when the hands are separated and she's pausing to take the signal. That's when her feet are set.
And she can't pick it up. She can't tap it.
No, just wiggle it, that's all. Wiggle it, get it comfortable, find the right hole, whatever. This is the pitcher that was leaping and replanting.
Did you share the screen?
Oh,
Yes, yeah,
that'd be a good idea. I'm looking at it. Can't you guys see that? Jeez. Okay, now can we see it?
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, now
yes.
just go in
yes.
slow motion here. A leap is anytime you don't have contact with the ground. So right here is when she leaves the ground. There is no drag. She is leaping until she replants. Right there's the replant. Look where the ball is at 12 o'clock. And then she whips around and throws it. So that's your crow hop as well.
Yep, a leap and a replant. You got them both. Again, I mean, this kid's got a lot. She was just a freshman. She's got a lot of potential, but we got to make sure. And again, what we saw watching in live action looked like she was leaping pretty sure. And then it's got this herky-jerky motion. And that was caused by the replant right there. It wasn't a smooth motion at all. So again, if you got somebody that you have questions about, take some videos and slow it down and take a look. Work with their coach. You know, we want to make these girls legal. We want to help them, not hurt them. So that's that one. Let me get the other. You notice it's 5:31 out here in Panhandle.
All right, now with this one, she is legal right there. If she
Right.
were to go forward and from this position, this would be a legal pitch. But as soon as she steps back, that makes this pitch illegal.
Yep. And again, she could start right there if she wanted to, because her hands are separated, but she would have to start there and pause and take her signal, not just keep on moving, which she did. That's why I muted that one when I put it on.
Okay. All right, now when she stepped back, her hands are coming together and she's just pitching the ball. That's the other reason why this one is illegal.
Right.
Okay. So when she got back there, if she would have kept her hands separated, got her signal, she would have been fine in that position. And that's the position you'll probably see most pitchers in, is getting that wider stance.
Yeah, I mean, she's a tall, long, young lady. She's lanky. She's good. She'll be pitching at the next level. And again, her coach said, you know how to pitch legal. They're calling it. Just pitch legal. I think she got called 10 times in the championship game and still won.
All right, I'm just going over some questions, Jeremy.
Go for it.
How much should we work with and teach the pitchers to the correct mechanics, initial warning, then illegal, or just basic zero tolerance? In the preseason, you help them as much as you can. But once you get to a game, you can only do so much with them. If you have, I would say if you had both teams are having issues, then you can probably be a little bit more lenient. But you're going to get to a point where the coach is like, well, you got to call that because, they're illegal and that's hurting us. So once the season starts and it's a regular season game, you have to just call them illegal and explain why they are illegal. And that's probably the best thing that you can do, is the explanation of why.
Right.
When they rock backwards, they have to keep their pivot foot in contact. That is correct. Okay, they can bring it up, but the heel still has to be in contact with that rubber. pitcher steps on the plate, does the pause have to be with the hands apart, or can she pause with the hands together?
Apart.
All right, because once she brings it together,
How
she's
she's,
got her 5 seconds. Why is the signal so important from the catcher or the bench? Or why is the sign? It just tells them where the coach wants them to pitch the ball.
It's,
There's a lot that don't have it, so, you know,
and it's also, it prevents quick pitching.
all right. And these videos will also be on the website as part of this presentation, correct?
Yes, the whole
Okay.
presentation should be up there, so. In fact, I'm gonna send Jeremy, I'll send Jeremy those two, and you maybe put them up with, under this webinar, so people can look at them themselves. I'll do that.
All right, what is the FSSAA strike zone? Well,
I've
first,
got it right here.
Federation strike zone.
2-56-3. The strike zone is the space over home plate, which is between the batter's forward armpit and the top of the knees. When the batter assumes a natural batting stance, any part of the ball passing through the strike zone in flight shall be considered a strike. That's the top of the ball. Top of the ball has to be below the front armpit and at the top of the knees.
Okay. Back foot in place, does not step back, but pitcher rocks back, toe comes off the ground, but heel intact. That's what we just talked about.
That's
So
good.
That's legal.
Yeah.
So where'd that one go? Sorry. Is Federation talking about getting rid of the penalty for leaping in the future? I have no idea.
Yeah, that would come from their questionnaires that they have at the end of the season, as they're seeing if any rules need to be adjusted or tweaked or anything like that.
Again,
that would come.
Our plan is to parallel college. Now, with other associations allowing leaping, if college does, then we'll adjust again. And that's our intent in Florida. That's what the coaches want, to teach the girls to pitch like they're going to pitch in a couple more years. So,
and with this being more strict than the NFHS, it keeps us in good standings with them. Because it doesn't relax the rule, it makes it more strict on the pitchers. So that's why there hasn't been that, oh, we're not 100% for softball, or we can't be on the rules committee or anything like that. If you make the rule more strict, you are still considered in good standings with them. So unless something changes with them and then it says that's more laxed, we'll continue with how we are with the Florida rule.
thanks, Jeremy. Perfect.
Okay, your thoughts on how long a pause is when the pitcher is taking or simulating taking before bringing her hands come together. A pause is like a breath, if you're up there and, how long does it take you to take a breath? So I'm not gonna say it's a second, it's 2 seconds, it's just a pause. So.
Good answer, Cindy. Yeah.
Judgment.
Yeah, it's taking a breath.
Pitcher is not allowed to step back, but can the pitcher move her foot forward and reset prior to pitching?
There's nothing in the rule that says she can't. I don't know why she would, but the rule as it's written says step back to increase the distance behind the pitcher's plate. So yes, she would be allowed to shift it forward.
There is no 5-second rule, correct? That is incorrect.
The 5 seconds, yeah, she has, once she brings her hands together, she has 5 seconds to release the pitch.
I understand she can go to the right or left and forward as long as her legs are as her legs are separate. Are we in agreement?
Hands. I think he meant hands, I hope.
Hands, yeah.
We're not gonna make a pitch with their legs together.
Okay, I understand.
A lot of evil jokes we could start.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard when she's when she's got her step back for her to adjust that front foot in any manner. Is that what you're? I'm not quite sure
What you're asking.
what you're asking on that. Where'd it go? Pitchers are taking signal reading armband behind the pitcher's plate, stepping on and pitching, but must still simulate. Absolutely.
Yes, she must still step on with her hands apart, get her feet set, and simulate taking a signal.
And apart, yes. Is the trick change up pitch legal?
Why is everything picking on Asians? I'm gonna guess that is where you move your arm but you've already released the ball and come around.
Nope, that's in the book. That's illegal. You can't continue
Illegal,
past the
yeah.
shoulder.
No motion after you pitch the ball.
I'm thinking that's what he means.
The pause to protect the batter, yes. And the umpire sometimes.
Yeah.
So-
Yes, we're always taking the signal with our hands apart. So going along with the idea of following college rules, will FSSA change the rule to mandatory taking the sign on the pitcher's plate and making it illegal if they take a sign off the pitcher's plate?
No, we decided that was too draconian.
Yeah.
And we didn't change to the college 10-10-5. We just went with our high school 20 seconds. But again, if she's taking too long, work with the catcher, work with the coach, talk to the coach after the game, email them, say, do what the college pitchers are doing. Get the ball back, step on, then go through your whole wristband thing, and then pitch. It's simple.
All right.
Simple for us, I guess.
A 5-second violation is an illegal pitch, and if the batter hits it, the coach can take the outcome of the illegal pitch. Just like any other illegal pitch. Let's see, Tom here. Pitcher's hands are at her side while simulating taking the signal. Plate umpire can't tell if they are separated. Coach insists they are separated. Plate umpire judgment, is this illegal because he can't see separation? You know, in plate umpire's judgment, is this illegal? Oof. Usually give the benefit of the doubt to the pitcher. Between half innings, I might go up to my base guy and go, hey, what do you see out there?
Yes.
Do you see the ball? Do you see is she separate? If he can't see it and you can't see it,
Right.
you may want to explain what separation is. You have to be able to see that ball. Hit by pitch, does batter have to make an effort to avoid outside if the pitch is outside the strike zone?
If it's completely in the box, no. But if the pitch is not completely in the batter's box, yes, she has to avoid, and she can never intentionally try to get hit by the pitch.
Okay. Enforcement pitching rules. Have the coaches been advised how we are going to call the game this coming year? I'll advise coaches during pregame meeting. This rule has been there. This is the second year now. So we don't need to discuss it at the pregame. This is
Okay.
part of what they should know already. And we move forward.
The few,
Yeah.
the coaches that do come to the FACA meeting, they know about it, but that's not nearly, not very many.
And I know Kelly has sent it out to the coaches and who we have in our database for softball coaches. So it has gone out. Again, have they read it? Have they paid attention to the emails Kelly sends out? That's another question itself. We can't guarantee that. But from our end, it has gone out. Coaches should be aware of it. I'll remind Kelly to send out maybe some more emails as well, just reminding everybody that this is how the pitching rule is. It may not be a bad idea for the leadership of associations, just saying, hey, this is the Florida pitching rule. Make sure you're aware of it. Want to do our due diligence on our end as well. And maybe all of us hitting them from the same direction will help out. But as much as possible, it has gone out. Again, as with everything, if they read it and are paying attention, that's another battle that we have to deal with in itself.
Yeah, and just also to add what Larry was saying, you don't want to get into a conversation at your pregame meeting, in-depth stuff. That's like you don't want to explain DP flex at a pregame meeting. All right, this is the same thing. If you think that the coach has a question, then and when you're walking by on the field, yeah, if you want to have a quick conversation, but if we start doing stuff like that at a pregame, you're going to leave something out, or they're going to hear what they want to hear, and then you're going to really be in trouble. I think.
Good point. Thanks, Diane.
All right. One question. Can we pick our battles about the pitcher taking a signal from the coach, catcher, bench, parent? There's no battle to be won or fought here, okay? They can take the signal from anybody.
Yep.
Before they step on, and even after they step on. They can take it from anybody as long as they simulate taking it once they are on the rubber.
With their hands apart.
There's no battle. Some guy's having an issue with his video. Enforcement pitching rules. Have the coaches been advised? Did I just read that one? Yep. All right. Larry, what's the real strike zone you want us to call? I can kind of answer that, the top of the ball way up here is not a survival strike. Okay. I would bring it down about a half a ball or a ball. And as far as the knees, we got to bring it up to the knees. We have too many pitches and being called well below the knees into the shins. So just need to shorten it up just a little bit. But in high school, again, it's survival. So you want the biggest strike zone you can legally get. Larry, anything to add to that?
If my guys are not given that ball that's, sternum high, I'm hitting them for it when I evaluate. Now, if I don't see a whole lot of them getting the top of the ball much above that, and I don't have a hard time saying that's a good strike zone as long as it's not too low, like Cindy was saying. The top of the ball, top of the knee, top of the ball, above the sternum, just above, should be a strike. And I've got guys that won't call the high strike, and I beat them up all the time. So keep doing the same thing.
I can take the next comment from Mr. Whipple. He was just mentioning associations could invite coaches or ADs to the preseason meeting. Yes, that would be highly encouraged from our office. It's actually one of the requirements for associations to invite the schools and host them during one of the meetings. So whether now obviously Zoom or if you're doing in person, we definitely encourage that communication and having school members from your contracted schools to attend those meetings if you're going over a specific rule or the rule changes or anything to those issues. So yes, we definitely encourage that. Great point, Mr. Whipple. Appreciate that. But yeah, that would be another way to get them on board or up to the new rules. So just another suggestion.
Yeah, we invite them to a meeting, probably the last meeting before the Jamboree tournaments. We invite all our coaches. Not many of them really come, but they get invited, and this will be one of the things I'll cover in our local meeting for sure.
Well, the question box is empty now, so I think we're 10 minutes before cutoff time. So if there are any last minute questions, please feel free to throw them in. If not, thank you everyone. I believe we were up over the 100 mark tonight, so that was awesome. And thank you again, Larry, Diane, and Cindy, for taking the time out of your evening to join us and to make our umpires a little bit better going into the season. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
One other
Yeah.
question here, Jeremy, that came up. Is a dead ball when the ball slips from the pitcher's hand during the backward motion for delivery, or is it just a ball? Sorry for going off grid. Yeah, it's live ball.
Live ball. It's in the book. Pick up the book and read that one. That might be on the test.
In
Might be.
regards to 6-1F1, as what happens when she is taking a signal with hands apart, but decides to remove herself from the pitching position as she steps first with the non-backwards and the right before stepping back with her non-pivot foot. Umpire calls it a illegal pitch because she was set with her non-pivot foot. Anytime go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, if she hadn't brought her hands together, she can remove herself. That's not an illegal pitch because she's not pitching. She's removing herself from the pitcher's plate. If
Yeah,
she
and it
steps
doesn't
back,
matter which foot, right?
it does not matter which foot goes first. But I can understand that question because we said once she's set, then she can't step back any further. But if she's removing herself, then she can step back with either foot first.
Which means her stride foot that it's back, if she wants to get off the mound, she can still pull that back as long as that front foot comes with it.
Right, exactly.
There you go.
Good question, though.
Awesome. So with that, great question there to end us. We'll call it a night, and I hope all of you, again, like I said, are doing well and safe. We're hopeful we're able to continue with the season with no major issues. That's our plan. We're excited for our girls to be back out there, for our umpires obviously to be out there. So we wish all of you well and to remain safe and healthy. Thank you.
And we will have another webinar coming up in a month or maybe a little bit more, probably a Wednesday night again. I'm not sure what subject will be, but whatever comes up early in the season, we'll work it in. And again, if you want to come to the 3 umpire clinic in Pensacola on the 22nd, email me.
One other thing, yes, this is being taped so you can review it. And also the last question was, can she remove herself from the mound with both feet? Bless her heart if she can, but yes, she can. I mean, I'm not sure how they're going to, but usually it's 1 foot at a time, but it's not illegal to move both of them at the same time.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Jeremy.
showing up,
Great job,
everyone.
my friend.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.